Welcome all the YouTube enjoyers, stay gigachud and spam noted. Today in this video, I'm gonna cover some additional tips in hard mode Gate 3 that will help you guys by a lot. Alright, first one is this puddle that you get, the color puddle, when your gauge reaches half. I saw a lot of you guys rubbing the puddle with opposite color players, and I assume a lot of people are unconsciously doing that because they can't focus on the puddle that they have. This is very important to move out all the way because this puddle not only gives damage, it increases the opposite color's gauge. It makes other players max their gauge and become bomba mode. So keep your eyes on your gauge, and if it reversed, you have to move out. Alright, you know this pounding 2-time pattern in phase 1 and phase 3? Okay, if you see this, how many of you guys actually took tremendous damage all of a sudden from this pattern? Sometimes you get a lot of damage, sometimes you don't. And this is not a bug. If you stay on this right side, then you take double damage. But if you stay on somewhere else, like middle or left side, then you take single hit. You want to dodge to his left side like this, not to this side. No. Next one is 425, where a lot of people die. So when he roars with the Balthor script like that, then you have to go to the safe zone in advance. You see this? The field is shrinking right now. At this point, all of you guys should be moving to the wider side already. Because what happens is that if you keep on greeting, when you're not good at greeting, by the way, then the people who come late will get shoot by these orbs and they will die. And when you gather to this safe zone, do not stick to the edge right away, because there are people who are dying by getting fat toed. You want to gather to the center side, and then when it becomes narrow, slowly stick to the one edge, like left edge. And when this fills up, you want to right click one time on somewhere here in the center of the safe zone. Again, I saw people fat towing by clicking somewhere like here on the edge. And when the circle disappears, you will see the orb connecting right away. Classes who have 2 or more movement skills, it's better to use all of them to pass this right away. Classes who have a single spacebar, then they should wait for the second connection. A lot of people were being too cautious and they were lagging behind. That is not how you do this mech. This mech, you need to go as fast as possible, because if not, this laser will one-shot you, right? If your party is having problem of passing 425, then there's pretty much just a single reason. And that reason is because there are people getting hit by the patterns and getting electrocuted. The people who have less, dashing skill will eventually catch up other people anyway, as long as they don't get electrified. Alright, my tip is here. You walk on the borderline like this. There are some people who are walking like this, that's bad. Some people are walking outside, that's also bad. You want to walk on the border, the center side, so that you can flexibly move to the safe zone. Then the only thing that you actually have to care is the line connection from these orbs. This is the only thing that you should care about. Okay, 375, the first stage break. So here, if you accidentally stagger the boss and the orb stays permanently, then in the hard mode, this is pretty much a raid wipe. But in the normal mode, it might be doable. Just saying this tip for people who do normal mode, possibly hitting the left top right away. As soon as this mistake happened, this footage we actually cleared all the way. Even though people were getting zapped by the orb consistently, somehow the DPS is really fast. Since it was normal mode, you can give it a try. So phase 2, after the first stage break, when he gets staggered for the first time, then the party does not take any dot damage at all, even though the color is unbalanced. So you don't have to take care about the balance of the color like that much after the first stagger happens. You must put his head indicator to the center of the map like this. If you have his head fixed to the center, then you have a lot of space on the left and right. You will not fall. And also, supporters can give the buff. Artist and Bard has an attack buff skill that is small, right? But when they're gathering to the center, everyone can get benefit. And also, most of his hammer patterns, as you guys know, is close head safe. Alright, this is another pattern that's dangerous if you don't fix his head to the center. He throws a boomerang like that, and then boomerang comes all the way back, and this is front close safe, right? You can dodge everything. Now the problem is, let's say that his head is not here, but on somewhere like edge, like here. And then he does this boomerang, then what happens is that the boomerang doesn't turn 360 like this. It does not. It turns 180 like this because there is a floor. There's a stage here. He stops here looking this way and booms the hammer in an X. And this X can shock you and it can hit the players where they are. There is literally no reason to goof around on edge side. Stick to the center no matter what. Next one is this two-hand color pattern. I've seen people forgetting that they should stay after the hit happens. There's a remnant that happens, as you see. These red and blue remnant, you see this? This stays for like 2 seconds. If you forget this and move to the opposite color unconsciously, you get a lot of gauge. Always keep in mind to stay for this pattern. And also this hammer smash part, as in my guide, do not stay here. The hammer actually does damage directly, so you should stick very close to him. Alright, this part is something that I also didn't know, and it's not in my guide. This Draven pattern, he throws one time to the front like that, and whomever is the closest right after this, he aggroes the second and third boomerang to him. If you see my character, I'm gonna use Starfall Pounce, which is gonna stick to him, and this moment, the boss perceived me as the closest. So he's gonna throw the second and third to me. Like that. And the third one is gonna come to me as well, just like that. By knowing this fact, you can turn this pattern into a completely full DPS pattern, like free DPS. What you do is that, idealistically, after the first throw, any supporter just stick to his body to get the aggro, and the supporters have to just easily dodge by walking in and out. Then what happens is the Draven doesn't go to the path where the DPSs are, so the DPSs can free DPS the whole moment. It's a very advanced tip, and if you can do it, then it will give a lot of DPS time. So this is 325 mech. You always have to see his stagger bar disappearing and stay away from the center. There are some people who are too far away or who gets zapped. So even though they get cleansed, still too late to come in. In that case, just click time stop. Time stop works on this mech. Alright, next one is 275 Anvil mech. Pretty sure a lot of people are having problem on here as well, but if you think in the opposite way, you should really not have a problem here if everyone just uses Hyper Awakening. If anyone is not confident of guarding all three, then it is better to just Hyper Awaken. So the timing for Hyper Awakening is after he flashes, his hand, the arm is gonna start moving. That's when you just Hyper Awaken. Now, so your party should never have a problem in this mech. Or you can just guard all 3 times if you're very confident. Okay, this pattern right here, where he embraces himself like this, and then the thunder falls, and it's a just guard, right? So this pattern right here on phase 3, when there's only half of the stage, and there's like this kind of bad overlap moment. So for example, he does the color change mech, where, one person get the white circle and you guys rebalance the color. Some people get thunder puddle, right? So they have to move out. What if his next pattern is this pattern? The thunder strikes from the outer side, but there's already people waiting to put their puddle on the edge. So this is a very bad overlap. I'm pretty sure some of you guys experienced this. Honestly saying, the best is time stopping. But if you don't run time stop, you have to somehow dodge all these lightning and stick to him and just guard. Supporters have to specially take care on their party mate when this kind of bad overlap happens. The color balance into this just guard pattern. All right, this pattern. He does like that with the 2 fists and then smashes 2 times or even 4 times depending on where he's facing. And then does the donut like that, right? So this one is something that I didn't know as well. It's not in my guide, so it's gonna be very helpful. So he shows an obvious tell by clapping his fist like this, right? And there's a spark. Then immediately you should know that, he's doing that shit. The safe zone is sticking really close to him. I didn't know this. So I always push immune because my class is Glavier. These cones should not hit this side if you stick very close. That is what I figured out from the invent research. And then he's gonna slam, right? That slam is something you can't dodge if you stick close. You have to go out. When he tries to slam, move out, and then move in again, because inner side is safe zone. So many people have been dying on that cone because of a lot of damage, and also the cone pushes you all the way to the edge, and if there's a puddle, then you're dead. Hope you guys don't experience that tragedy anymore. So this one is a 200 mech. I see a lot of parties wiping here, and that's because of the yellow orb getting stunned into the gauge. And that's an immediate kill because your color reverses and you get killed by the players next to you because their puddle color will be different. If your party DPS is enough, then I think you can consider both of the party taking the wire. So blue from here going all the way to the red, and red from here all the way to blue as well. At the same time, it should happen, because if it happens with some interval, then you guys might get hit by the puddle. By doing this, there's one disadvantage. Orbs that is gathering to the center side might actually, reach the boss and ends up giving him shield. And that is the reason why I recommend you to do this on a party that has a lot of DPS. A lot of DPS enough to remove all that shield. If not, then just like, how I recommend in my VOD, it's better for red to take it and blue to just walk. And blue has to be especially cautious because the yellow orbs are coming from all over, right? Focus on dodging, and also don't forget to dodge the hands 2 times, the start and the end. Do not fall and die. All right, this one's 180 mech. So similar, right? Red left and blue right. But the pizza happens. The blue happens on this side, right? So after this, the blue will happen here. And then lastly, the blue will happen here, right? So the blue have to just go here to here and then here on outer course, right? Now the thing is, there's another pattern that can happen. And from what I've been seeing is that this mistake especially happens a lot from the blue side. If the blue starts from here instead of here, then after being on this safe zone, they tend to go to this side right away. If the blue starts from here, then the next blue happens on here. So you have to go this way, and then the third one happens on here again, so this way, and then the last one happens here, so this way. I've seen a lot of people, when the blue starts from here instead of here, then they immediately try to cross to this side, but there's no safe zone here when the pattern starts like that. So they end up getting a lot of gauge and starts bombing, and that's a raid wipe. All right, next one is 160 mech. So the leader stays in between the hammer and the boss. I see a lot of people doing this good, but here they make a lot of mistake. You have to point the cursor on the opposite hammer, not on the boss or somewhere else. A lot of cases, Bastian was shooting the +1 into like completely different way, like this, or like this. If the leader is standing with the Bastion, let's say like here, then his view is like the hammer is covered by the boss, right? So you might miss pointer to the boss. In that case, the leader just moves out like this to see a better view of the hammer and then just point it at the hammer and click +1. What matters is the Bastion's position. So he's gonna shoot it here. And one last thing about this 160 mech. I did not want to cover this, but yes, I'm aware of this exploiting the bug. An announcement from AGS that they are fixing it today. There might be a lot of people who doesn't know how to do the color balance mech right after this. Watch my guide. Yeah, and don't forget to turn off the ad block, okay? Watch more of my guide. Give me money. Thank you so much, guys. All right, this one is 140 mech. Some people get lightning, so go out, and the pizza happens 4 times. Now, the problem is, from the 3rd or 4th one party will not get a safe zone. And in my guide, I recommend you to just tank it, rather than taking the wire, since the next pattern after this can be the aggro beam. What if your gauge is about to bomb? Then I would recommend you to use time stop. That's the best in my opinion. If not, then yeah, you should take the zipper, the wire, and try to improvise well when the next pattern is aggro beam. Go to the, fewer people. Okay, this time let me cover some of the patterns when there's only a quarter side left. So this pattern, he splits the hammer and slams, right? This is very lethal if you don't dodge it. If his indicator is not in the center, then it can hit you. I don't know how you guys do it, but in Korea, people just tries to push immune everything, something that's not lethal as a damage. Because of this, it'll be really helpful if supporters shield or DR whenever he does this kind of normal hammer patterns. What I mean by normal hammer patterns is, the colorless patterns. Like this one, the hammer split and smash. And another one is this one, the stare and hit. Alright, this one is a rectangle pattern. When this happens, he literally shows the rectangle zone. And a lot of people die by not being the rectangle at the start. At this moment, as you see, the fog is already filled up. You're dead if you're outside. These ones are dangerous. Any color pattern, because the color pattern, if you don't be in the safe zone, it doesn't do that much damage, right? But it gives you a lot of gauge. I'm pretty sure I saw a lot of party that starts bombing again, like exploding again from this mech. And that is very, unfortunate, since not only you lose the DPS time, but also if he starts bombing, where are you gonna dodge to during this mech? Because outside does lethal damage. I had an experience of getting full meter here. I went out and took the zipper. I was able to do that because I had shield at that time. I was able to secure the bomb explosion, but when I came back all the way to the other side, I died. As soon as you land, how are you gonna move this much distance? But I think it might be possible if the supporter DR like Rhapsody right on the spot that he lands, but I never tried that, so I don't know. Do not disrespect the color patterns during this mech. You need to try to greed here. The reason why I recommend you to greed here is because number 1, it's one of the easiest mech, honestly. And number 2, if you don't greed here, then it means you're gonna watch more patterns during this last phase. Alright, this attack here, when he raises the hammer opposite for a long time, it's a one-shot pattern, right? Alright, this is another one that I didn't know. If you stick very close to his front, then you can dodge it. All 2 hits. He smashes in this kind of range. On the first hit, which does over 200k damage, so you must dodge it. And the second hit, which knocks you down, the range is like this. There is a room to dodge both of them if you stick very close to the boss like this. And I didn't know, so you guys can try it. Which in other words, this means when he holds the opposite hammer like that, you don't have to panic, taking the zipper or going to the backside. Just stick close. Even if you do get hit by the second attack, you don't get knocked out because you get pushed to the boss's cock. And that's not a fall, so you're good. If you somehow get hit by it, it means you did not stick to him tight. You unconsciously used a skill that steps back from the boss or something else. Another last pattern that I highly emphasize is this, the most dangerous pattern that I've been seeing in KR that people die by a lot. This boomerang pattern. In phase 4, he additionally smashes after the boomerang. After this, and then he bongs. People who get directly hit by the hammer, like inner side like this, they just get knocked down from where they are. They don't like, airborne to the side. But if you get hit by like, outer side of the hammer, then that airbornes you to the side and that's a kill by falling. The problem is the close inner side, which is safe for most of the patterns, is not safe for this pattern, which is the number one reason why people die to this pattern by falling, by sticking here. Dodge it to the center where the hammer is, or just move all the way out to the, center edge. Okay, last one is this stage break at the end. After you do these things, he's gonna do the just guard, right? So you normally succeed first and second to do just guard damage, and also it gives more DPS time for others to DPS. And then intentionally fail the third one to trigger the hidden Balthor, right? From here, what I see a lot is on the intentional fail, people die. Supporters have to DR there. So succeed, and this one. I didn't cover this part in the guide because I didn't have a good footage to show that. When he smashes like that, he hits inner side like this. Inner side first, and then it hits outer side. Not sure if this footage shows that. Let's see. Boom, inner side, right? And then outer side, just like that. So if you don't have push immune, you can move out to the edge, and after the first hit happens on the inner side like this, move to the inner side. Then you can dodge everything properly. But honestly, like, how people do in KR is that everyone just stick to the boss's front like this and DR. So I also recommend this, but let's say that your supporter is dead, then what you want to do is take zipper or go out and then move in after the first hit. Spam noted. Hope you guys have good luck on your second week of Thunderbolt masturbation run. I'm not sure. Was this helpful? If it was, then Twitch Prime and YouTube subscribe, give like. Thank you so much. 07 guys.